Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator here in, I was going to say Dutch Polder. This is not Dutch Polder, this is Pacific Inlet Logging. So, welcome back to Pacific Inlet Logging, and we are just going to finish tidying up these last couple of trees right here, and that is every single piece of timber cut down in this zone, in this little area that we are doing. So, we're going to cut that one across there, like that. And, of course, health and safety first. You always stand on the side opposite to... Yeah, so we're exactly like that. It's the safest possible way to cut a tree. You stand like this, okay? So what you do is you stand on the left-hand side, you cut to the right, so the branch, all of this, this will then drop. See, this is absolutely... 100% the safest way, obviously, of cutting any kind of tree. See, just like that. Yeah, okay, maybe not. Maybe I'm not the person you should be looking to for health and safety tips when it comes to doing anything with a chainsaw. If that little bit of advice is anything to go by, this is probably the last thing you want is to be listening to me. Yeah. Just best if you just don't listen to me when it comes to anything like that, because otherwise I'm going to end up getting in trouble, because somebody will be foolish enough to actually listen to the advice that I put out, and then something bad is going to happen to somebody, and yeah, I don't want that on my conscience. Don't listen to me, okay? Hashtag Frithgar is not to be listened to. That's going to be the new trending hashtag at the moment. Is hashtag don't listen to Frith. Right? I'd like you all to use that one. Go to Twitter and put in hashtag don't listen to Frith. See if we can actually get, like, more than 2 comments on it. That would actually be quite funny. Imagine that actually started. I don't know what I would, I would literally, I would be staring at that just in, like, I don't know. I'd probably just go to pieces. If that started actually trending in the world, hashtag don't listen to Frith. That would be the funniest thing ever. It really would. Sound advice, though. Hashtag don't listen to Frith is very good advice. Now, if we chop that through like that, and that one there, I can pick that one up, see? And then if I go like this, I can... Okay, I can't throw it at it. I can pick that one up. That one I don't think is going to get a lot of money. For $46. Some of these really don't get a lot. Unless you get them absolutely spot on straight. You really... Ooh, okay. Well, we definitely need to take that bit out. There. Oops. Nope. There. Pick this up. Like that. But if you can get the bigger... If you can get them straight... The straight really does seem to make such a huge difference. Which is why I don't really like messing around with these deciduous trees. Because they seem like such a waste of time most of the time. You never quite get them... making anywhere near the money that the other ones can make. But in you go. There we go. We got 1,000 from that one. And 156 from that other piece. Okay, I'm actually impressed. I think that one there is going to get us a reasonable amount. This one, maybe not so much. So let's just chuck that one in. There he goes. We will use this one here to push. Oh no, that's a big piece. Okay, well, we'll chuck that one. And we'll use this one here to do the pushing. This one here can push this big piece. We'll put those two together like that. And then the rest of these over here, we'll just take these and we'll sling them into the lake like this. And we'll see what else we get. That's going to be the very last pieces of timber. And then finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to... Well, we'll be getting on with the next bit. Picking up the wood chips first. I don't know how long it's going to take us to pick up all those wood chips. It could take a while. I'll see whether we use 1 or 2 of the link boxes. I'm thinking 2 would be pretty good. We can put them both onto the JCB and run around with 2 of them. That's going to be picking up 8,000 litres at a time, which is... That's a pretty good lot, that is. The only thing is tipping it all out. I mean, we don't have to pick up the chain every time. Use the chain to pick up the back of it each time. Right, let's grab you and... Just push you along a little bit, like that. There we go. And then next one there. Chuck you in. There we go. That one got us 730. That's not quite as much on that one. 155 on the other bit, which isn't too bad. So we'll bring you this way. I'll start this tractor up, and I'll go and put this one back over there. And then 163,000. Of course, I'm still considering whether we should get like the big vacuum cleaner type thing. I'm also wondering whether we should tip the wood chips over in here. If we were to stockpile the wood chips in this big zone here, that would be a pretty good place. I mean, there's all... Oh, okay, we'll leave them over there. You talked me into that as well. Now what? Now what? Let's start you up. So what are we going to do with this one? I think we need to move this one back out the way a little bit. Okay, my reversing skills with this one are pretty poor. Look, I don't like this tractor. Scott, a guy that watches and comments occasionally, and I know for a fact that he lives in Australia, and he drives a truck in Australia, where he has, like, multiple trailers on the back, you know, like they do in Australia. And he asked me if I'd be able to do 3 trailers with 2 dollies. I can barely do 1 trailer with 1 dolly. How on earth... No. Just no. How could anybody do 2 trailers with... 3 trailers with 2 dollies? Is that even possible? Could you... Is that actually even a thing? I'd love to see that. I really would. I seen a really cool video. I did talk about this before. Which was... I believe it was in New Zealand. This guy came in with a truck, right? Yeah, with a lorry. And it was a high-sided tipper. And he backed in. He had a lorry, and then he had a trailer with a turntable sort of built into the trailer, right? Nothing unusual there, except that he came roaring in really fast, and then he came round a corner, and he then backed it in, like full speed, back in, round a corner with the trailer, and the trailer went right up to the exact right spot, and then he did something with it, whether he tipped it out or he moved it, and then he backed it round again, so it went to a different spot, and then he had the back of the actual lorry freed up, and he could tip from that one as well. It just was absolutely spot on perfect. It was beautiful. Beautiful. It was like poetry in motion, it really was, and I was absolutely in awe of this. And now I've got people, you know, I thought, well, I can back that one in a straight line. I think I did all right with that. I was pleased with that. I felt that I was making progress. And then you go and say to me, oh, can you do that with 3 trailers and 2 turntables? What? 3 trailers and 2 turntables? See? Yeah, that's my actual response to that when I first seen it. When I first seen this, 3 trailers, 2 turntables. It was literally, it was a... Okay, that's all I can say on that. If you can, then you're some sort of godlike person who's, yeah, that would just be amazing. Right, we got extension grid there with loading wall. Extension grid is with just a mesh. You know what, we'll use one with the extension grid because, I don't know if that, like, increases the size like the loading wall does, but it'd be nice to have the 2 different variations on it. We don't want just a small one because we know that that's going to be smaller, but having the mesh on there, I think that's pretty good. And also, it would make sense having the mesh on there on the front one so that you can actually see what you're doing. Because the other one's a solid wall, whereas this one we'd be able to see through it. And I'm hoping that we'll still be able to load from it. That's the important thing here. Let's bring you in there like that. Right, I'm gonna open it like that. I'm just gonna leave that one open, and then we'll leave the other one open as well. And it's literally then all we need to do is press X in order to be able to make them work. Theory. Now let's just bring you round. I want to put the one on the back before I start doing any scooping up, because otherwise we're going to be a little bit unbalanced. Let's put you on there as well. Excellent. Now we're talking. Right, I'm going to open you down as well like that. So let's switch to the front one first. We go like this. We'll bring you round and I'll lower you down just like that. So we'll start loading you up. And I can go around like this. Okay, we can go quite quickly with this. I like that. I like that aspect of it. We're on 33% at the moment. Pick you up through there. Come back round. Okay, we've gathered everything up there. it is a bit rough and ready by picking, you're sort of running around like this, scooping them really fast. I do appreciate that. It's not particularly realistic, but I figure it's probably all right. It seems very low. Right, and then we'll go with the back one, like that. And this one here, I'm just going to back this one into the big scoop right here. Yeah, I don't like that. See, that one there, that one stacks it up higher, whereas the one in the front, it only goes to the lower point, whereas I think it should, with the wood chips at least, go up. I mean, I can understand why it wouldn't. It does make sense. Anyway, let's bring this in round here. We'll tip the front one first so that we can just make sure. So it is 4,000 on each one. We're pretty certain on that. Well, we know that. So that one can tip out there like that. And there we go, all tipped. And then I can spin it round. Okay, I like this setup, actually. 8,000, and it picks up very, very quickly and easily without any issues. And all I got to do is just press G occasionally in order to swap round which bit of the machine is actually using it. It doesn't try and pick up when... If you lower it down, it would try and pick up, but try to pick up while it's up in the air. Just bring you back over this way like this, and we'll lower you down. There we go. Right. We'll gather that up there. I am going to switch over lower down to the back one, and we'll back into this heap back here. Take everything that we get. That's everything that we can get on that one. Switch to the front one now. And this front one, we're just going to sort of drive off a little bit and scoop up some more over this way. There we go. Right, this is actually working really well. I think we're gonna be able to very quickly gather up a load of this. We've obviously got 6 people. We got Numbnuts from over in the garage over there, the guy that I said to you before, whose mind has never been violated by an original thought, which did surprise me. An awful lot of you seem to like that, actually. You've not heard that expression before, and I can't remember where I picked it up from. I got so many expressions that I pick up from various different books that I've read, or that I've heard other people use them, and so on. Well, obviously, a lot of expressions are picked up like that, aren't they? Where I actually first heard that one, I don't know, but I must admit, I do like that one. I do tend to use it quite a lot. If I'm trying to be politely extremely insulting, that is one of my go-to favorites. And yeah, it did sort of make me chuckle quite a bit, the number of you that really seem to like that expression. So I hope that I've actually started something now, and that the more of you are going to use that expression around the world, and talk about people whose minds have never been violated with an original thought. It's so yes, we've got him. He's on a shovel and he's running around like an absolute lunatic, chasing after us here. Trying desperately to keep up with everything that we're doing, because you know he'd like to earn a little bit of money. He's realised now that maybe, just maybe, we're going to be the next big thing in Pacific Inlet, in this town right here, and he wants to be a part of this. He wants to be able to say, "Oh, he's my mate. He's my mate. He is. I helped him out when times was tough for him." Except that he doesn't realise that he didn't help me out at all. He's already charged me. He charges me more for food and fuel for no particular valid reason other than, you know, someone else told him to. So I've already, as far as I'm concerned, I've already blacklisted him. I'm not going to be running around telling everybody that he's my mate. Right? It's not going to happen. It may sound harsh. It may feel like I'm being a little bit harsh to him. It may not be his fault. He's obviously not capable of too much coherent thought, but he ought to be able to figure some things out for himself. I mean, he is running the gas station over there. Well, there's not a lot else we can say about that, so we'll let him just carry on. He's going to run around with the shovel, and quite frankly, between you and me, could probably do with a little bit of exercise. He sits in there all day. He stays inside. He's getting a bit pale and pasty. Quite frankly, he looks like a YouTuber or a gamer. I know, right? That's not a good appearance. They look pale and pasty, and they generally shun the sunlight. And yes, I am talking about myself now. This is what I look like. I generally shun the sunlight, and I am a bit pale and pasty. It would also, I would just like to add that I do have red hair, so I have a valid reason for shunning sunlight at the best of times. And, yeah, right, let's bring that one in there. We're doing very well with our gathering of the wood chips, and I think this little system that we've got with having 2 of these is perfect. I think that one would be a little bit tedious and take a bit of a long time, but I think doing it like this is working quite well. So let's lower that one down there, and yeah, we'll fill the front one. We'll leave that little heap. We'll come back to the heap a little bit later. As I said before, we're not going to worry too much about the well, we're not going to worry about the stumps at all. We're going to take those out with the big yellow stump grinder that is on the back of the Ford. And we're not going to worry about trying to save the wood chips from the stumps. That's the only bit that we're not going to worry about. The rest of it, though, we're gathering up all the rest of the wood chips that are around, and we're going to make use of them. So let's just pick up that one and then swap over and lower that one down there so that we can fill that one up as well. There we go. Look at this. I really am liking this system that we've got. I'm quite glad that we decided to do this. It's quick, it's efficient, and let's not drive into the lake. It's not like we can just go and get our own machinery bought again, because the insurance is probably not going to cover it a second time. Even though we didn't own the first vehicle, we did technically... That's the thing, when you're leasing something, as far as the insurance company is concerned, you do technically own it for the period of time that you're leasing it. It is kind of like, it's a technical type thing. But yeah, in theory, you do own it for the period of time that you're leasing it. So all laws apply to you as though you actually owned the machine, apart from certain maintenance things which are down to the person that does actually own it. It's a complicated area. It is a complicated thing. Some things you can get away with, some things you cannot. Driving it into the lake is probably not something that we could get away with, again, because the insurance company will have said that, well, we drove it into the lake the first time, and that technically was down to us. It's nothing to do with the person that leased us the machine. So let's just to be on the safe side, and, you know, in order to be able to maintain our beautiful new Fastrac here, which is quite an expensive machine, let's not drive it into the lake. So we'll tip you out there like that, and then I should be able to back up onto the heap a little bit now, and come back round. That's actually, oh, okay, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it to actually, I should leave it in the tip position then until I get right off the heap and turn around, because it did actually start to load even though it was lifted up in the air, and I didn't think it would do that. That's all right. There's no big hardship. We can switch that one over and we can do another tip there. So then we just start backing down a little bit, and all we got to do is just wait until we've backed away from the heap properly. There we go. Right, we'll come up here in front of the Ford right there to get our next load. That one's going to go down there. We've got a bit there and a couple of little patches over here. Take that like that, and then we'll come over to this side of it. There, we can go around those stumps. I mean, it would be quicker to do the ploughing if we went through and did the stumps first, I think. But I think overall, the amount of time that we would save by doing all the stumps first, I don't think we would actually technically save any time at all. I think overall you'd end up, it would take longer if we did the stumps separately. I'm genuinely not sure about that. I kind of want to do both jobs. I kind of want to go through, do one save where I do all the stumps and another save where I don't do all the stumps, and then see which one works out as the quickest. But we haven't really got time for that. So instead, I'll just do it like this. We'll just stick with this plan, and we'll do it like this. We'll drive up through and take all of those out. A few more there, and then we can come along this bit. Look at, I mean, we are getting a massive amount of them. I've still got loads left to go and get. So we're 8,000 each time, and it's probably going to net us... I mean, one load here is going to be over $1,000, isn't it? But I would prefer to wait until we get a great demand on the wood chips, which is why we'll stash them here. And then when we got a great demand, you can take as long as you like to actually go and tip. Excuse me. You can take as long as you like to actually go and do the tipping. The price doesn't lower down, and that's one thing that I really want with FS17, that is one thing I would really, really love to see in the game, is not having, you know when you go and sell something, if you've got several trailers and you put them into a line, as soon as one trailer is finished tipping, the price adjusts. And that's one part of the game that I've never liked, and that's one bit that has always bugged me. And it's one bit that I hope that they do change. I really, really hope that they change that. And they have it so that you've got like a few minutes, which means that you can, well, there'd be a couple things that you could do. You can sell a whole load of grain all at once, but like just give you enough time to literally just go back to your farm and grab another trailer load. So say you've got a 5-minute window before the crop adjusts. The FS15 way of doing it, I liked it, but I don't think that worked very well. And that was the price changed on the hour. So what you do is you just wait until the price got really high. But also you could alter prices by selling a load of other crops, and that would artificially inflate the price of the thing that you wanted to sell. So you get a whole load of crops. Then you wait until one of them is actually doing fairly well, and you would sell all the other crops. And then it would artificially inflate the price of the one that you wanted. After, on the hour, it would always change on the hour. So you could sell all the other stuff at a reasonable price, and then on the hour, the prices would all change. Anything you'd sold, the price would drop. Anything you hadn't sold, if you'd sold enough on other things, it would push the price up. So if you sold 1 million litres of something, it would push the prices of all the other crops up. If you sold 1 million litres on 6 different types of crop, the one remaining type of crop, that would really push that one up. And then after that, you would then have 1 hour in order to sell everything that you could to the one where the price had like artificially inflated, and that would kind of then be the end of it. So it was a bit of an odd system, but you could play the system. And so they changed it. They knew that wasn't very realistic at all and didn't like it. So they desperately wanted to change that one, and they put in the one that we got. And the only downside with the one that we've got is that if you take a line of trailers to go and sell them, you sell the load from the first trailer and it instantly alters the price, which really wouldn't happen in real life at all. And that's the one bit that I really hate. You know, if you've got a load of crop that you want to sell, you should be able to sell all your crop before the price changes. And because all it's doing is it's just kind of pushing you very, very strongly towards having oversized trailers, and cheaty oversized trailers. It really does. It encourages you to take a trailer that's got a 1 million litre capacity and then sell everything all at once. And anything that's pushing you towards that style of gameplay, I don't particularly like. I would like to be able to go and sell a whole load of crops at a small price, because you wouldn't go and just like turn up at the bakery and hope for the best price you could get, and then he's going to give you a poorer price 10 minutes later when you turn up with another load. You would agree on a price beforehand, and then you'd be able to get that same price for everything you sold that day, or for that quantity of crop that you've got. So I'd like to, you know how you get like the delivery with the pigs, you get a delivery charge with the pigs. What I'd like to be able to do is sell an agreed amount of crop, and then you've got a set amount of time to either have it delivered or it gets picked up. If it gets picked up, you take a penalty on the price that you would get. So you go into a user interface and you say, right, I want to sell 15,000 litres of crop. Okay, you've got an 8,000 litre capacity trailer. You want to sell 15,000 litres of crop. So you agree the sale, and then you take 8,000 litres over to the bakery and you tip it out and you get the money for it on the price that you've already agreed. You've already agreed a sale, so that's already like done, and you take it over there and then you get that price for it. And then you don't actually have time, something comes up, you don't actually have time to get the last remaining little bit over to the bakery, and so after 1 hour has elapsed of in-game time, they come and collect the rest. But you get a penalty for not having delivered it personally. Because they've had to come and get it, you then get like a 10% penalty, which is your delivery charge. Something like that. It's I would imagine it working something similar to how the animals work, but rather than sort of doing it one bit at a time, you have a pre-arranged price that you agree to sell a certain quantity in, and you've got a set amount of time in order to be able to shift that stuff on. I'm making it sound quite complicated. In my head, it seems quite simple. I'm hoping that I am explaining it reasonably simply, but I'm aware that I probably am not. If you do understand what I'm saying, excellent. Maybe you could try to explain it to anybody in the comment section that doesn't understand, because you probably do a better job than I can. But that's kind of how I'd like to see an approach towards selling stuff, so that you do get kind of like the real world simulation with selling stuff. You're not going to take a massive hit to the price in between one trailer load and the next trailer load, and that's the bit that really bugs me, is the hit in the price between one and the next one. I can live with like the time it takes to go back to your farm and get more, so you know, at least encourage you to take a road train. But when your road train is penalised for being made up of small trailers rather than big trailers, that's the bit that I didn't like about it. Right? If you took a road train with a load of small trailers, you'd end up getting less for your product overall than you would if you took a road train with 6 big trailers. If you took 24 small trailers or 6 big trailers, you'd end up getting more money for the 6 big trailers, because of the way that the price would drop. At least I think you did. Maybe it was sort of more... I never actually tested it like that. That was one that I just read on a forum somewhere. So that one might not be accurate. I've made the assumption that their information is correct, when their information might not be correct at all. Never ever make assumptions. Okay? It can always end up going wrong if you make assumptions. I do try to avoid making assumptions. I usually do try to research any information that I find out and back it up with solid research, just to make sure that yes, actually this is accurate information. But I don't always have time, and that's one that I've never actually tested. I should do. I really should. Has anybody else tested it? If anyone else has, that would be a cool thing to know. Right, let's bring you over here. Some of these stumps are slowing us down a bit, but I still think we're doing alright with this. We're making some decent progress, and we're picking up a lot of wood chips here. We really are. We are picking up absolutely masses of wood chips here. We've got quite the stack around here now. I'm curious. Obviously, we can't sort of see how many litres we've actually stacked up here, but I've done quite a number of loads, and I'm bringing back about 8,000 litres each time. So we must have more than 100,000 by this point. We must have more than 100,000 litres of wood chips here on this heap. There we go. There's one lot out. And bring that one back round. And then switch round and go to this one. Take it up onto the front. Over 100,000 litres. I mean, what would we have gotten? What is the price of these wood chips at the moment? It's not very good, is it? 181. Yeah, not good. I don't know if we get great demands on this map. I mean, I would have thought that we would. There's not going to be very many great demands, because it's going to be the individual crops. There's not very many places that you can get a great demand going, because there's not very many sale points, which makes it more likely that we're going to get a great demand for the wood chips. It just depends on the timing of it. I'm going to be fast-forwarding time a bit. I realise we're still on day 1. I'm going to actually be fast-forwarding time a bit as we progress with this series. Because, you know, once we've done the ploughing and like the ground preparation, we're going to want to fast forward time a bit in order to be able to get to grass that has grown. I'm not going to worry too much about doing any work in between that stage, because that's the next project that we want to do. Now that we've done a load of tree cutting, I've spent weeks cutting down trees. Some of you are probably wanting a little bit of variation in gameplay. Don't blame you, I am as well. So we're going to be, we've got the ploughing to do, and then the cultivating, and then the planting, and a bit of fertilizer as well we want to throw on. And then once we've done that, we're going to want to do all of the next bits, which is going to be waiting, doing more fertilizer, waiting, doing more fertilizer, and then finally cutting. And I was thinking about this. I was giving this some serious thought as to what I'm going to use for doing the mowing and stuff like that. Whether I would use a front-mounted mower on this JCB alongside another one or not. And considering the size of the field here, which is not actually that big, I don't think I will. I'm not going to use a front-mounted mower on it. I don't think it would be warranted at the moment. Even though it wouldn't be that big, actually, I still don't think it would be warranted. So I'm just going to use the trailed mower, the disc vine, because that's got quite a wide cut on it, and it would be suitable for this tractor. So we're going to put the disc vine on this tractor, and that's the one that we're going to use for doing our little bit of mowing to start with. Let's swap you over and tip. There we go. Bring that back like that. And then untip, and then I just got to turn round. I reckon probably 3 more loads, and we will have finished that area completely. That will all be done. Back in here like this. I've been talking a bit about FS17 lately. It's a bit surprising, really, I suppose. You know, considering that the brand new game is almost here. So, you know, maybe it is a bit odd that I would talk about it. I don't know. Okay, no. I'm in a very peculiar mood today. You've probably noticed. I've been sort of talking about it a bit this week, actually, and the different things that we're looking forward to seeing and the things that we're not looking forward to seeing. What we're disappointed about that we know is not going to be in there. I know that quite a few people are already disappointed that we're not going to have any kind of deformable terrain. I completely understand Giant's point of view as to why they haven't put it in there. They haven't been able to get it to work properly yet, so they're not going to add it in. And I greatly respect them. Yes, I'm disappointed. Yes, of course I'm disappointed that we're not going to have deformable terrain. But I also hugely respect their decision not to try and put it in when it's not working properly. They did the same with FS17. They were nowhere near it in FS17. And it was just going to be a no-go right from the start. But I also hugely respect it's still not working as they would like, so they're not putting it in. And I greatly admire that. I would far rather have a polished game than something that is really buggy and doesn't work very well at all. And I know from other games that do have deformable terrain that it is still in its infancy. It doesn't matter what game engine you use in order to do it, it's still in its infancy, and it's a thing that is extremely difficult to code well. And then if you take into account that this game is specifically designed with modders in mind, it's just a no-go from the start. Because if you were to try to release FS17 with something as complex as what the code is at the moment with trying to get any kind of deformable terrain to work, and then release the game, it's going to make life a lot more difficult for the modders, because it's going to be something that's going to be really complex and not working properly, and that they've then got to try and get their mods to work round. It's going to be... overall, it's going to be more difficult, and it's going to give a poorer game experience. We all know that it's the mods and the capability of the modders that set this game apart from so many others. You start with a magnificent game, and Giants release their own sets of mods that are absolutely wonderful. They're absolutely amazing. But it's the fact that the modding community is so active and it's so open, and Giants do work hard to promote the modding community as well. I know there are disagreements between modders and the community, and disagreements between modders and Giants, and there's always going to be some sort of political hoo-ha in the background. But the fact of the matter is, modders make the game. And that is what sets this game apart from so many other games. You've got a brilliant game, but then Giants come along and they do everything they can to open this one up to the full modding community, and the stuff that is produced for it is just amazing. It's absolutely stunning, and it's down to the modders, and that in part is down to Giants making the game and the code for the game as simple as possible and as easy as possible, so that more people can mod. And yes, if you were to make the game a lot more complicated, there are other things that could potentially be put into the game that, or the graphics might be just a little bit prettier or something like that, it would possibly improve the gaming experience to start with. just to start with. But by making it more difficult, by making it a lot more difficult for people to mod, it would ultimately... I think it would ultimately impact the gaming experience for everybody, because there would be a lot less mods out there. There'd be a lot less mods to choose from. And some people absolutely love... Some people don't really like going for loads and loads of mods, because invariably, when there's lots of mods, some of them are going to be poorer quality, and some people don't like that. But most people I know, they like having the choice. They like the variation in mods and styles of gameplay that are available because of the modders. And that comes around in part because of how Giants maintain their code and keep it relatively simple. Not all of it. I mean, I'm sort of like, obviously I'm summarizing it hugely here and making it, you know, simplifying the whole situation hugely here. But that's one of the reasons when they turned around and said, no, we haven't got deformable terrain working properly, we're not going to put it in. I thought, that's absolutely brilliant. That is fantastic news. Not that they're not putting it in, that they've said, no, we can't get it to work perfectly, so we're not going to add it in. Right? They're not going to try and push it in if it's not absolutely perfect right from the get-go, which that was the bit that... And they've done this, like I said, they did this in FS17, but they do this with quite a few different bits. You know, if they cannot get it to work properly, if they can't get it perfect... they don't add it in, and yeah, it's that's one of the reasons I really like this game. That is one of the many reasons I really like this game. There's so much different stuff that we can do. Right, we are almost, now that I've gone on my little speech for the day, we're almost done. We've just got this little bit here, and then we've got a little bit over there, and that's all the wood chips done. We've done the wood chips, we've done the wood chips, we've done the trees. So all we got left to do after this is to start the ploughing and do all of the tree stumps. And that bit is going to be a little bit time consuming as well, but hopefully it won't be too time consuming. We'll hopefully be able to get through it at a reasonable rate. So let's just back up there and grab those bits there. I've got... The field is done. The field is done. We'll get these few little bits into this one. I'm confident we will. Confidence is high. There we go. And there we are. We're done. 84% overall. Right. That's it. We're finished. We've actually done it. We've picked up all of the wood chips. We've got that little heap over there. We're going to go... I'm going to empty these out, and then we'll go to that heap. And we'll pick up all of those as well, and we'll put them on our main storage heap over here. And then we are actually properly done. But this is effectively... We're done. We've actually finished. And I'm very pleased. I feel that we've done really, really well with this. So let's tip you out. All the way up there like that. Start coming forwards. There we go. Right, there's one lot out. And then we can turn round. And we can get the next lot out. That's done. And dusted. And finished. There. Okay. Done it right? Yes, I have. Tip. Like that. Start backing up. Slowly start backing up. And it pulls everything out quite nicely. And then untip that one, and then we come over here, and we've got just this heap of wood chips here. I should be able to get most of these into these two loads here. I don't know if we get all of it in. Actually, I think we might. We might just be able to do this. Of course, my biggest concern right now is I don't drive into the lake. I have a bit of a bad track record from this one little spot right here, so I may not get all of these wood chips. I may decide that it's just not worth the risk of getting all of these wood chips. Right? Might not be worth it. Well, there's one load. I've come back for another load. I don't know if I want to risk it. It's going right into the water as well, which, again, is making me... It's making me very nervous, but we could just say, well, those wood chips, they're too wet now, we can't use them. It's, that would be a valid reason for not using them. Let's just tip that lot out there. And, right, there's one load done. Come round. Right, I'm getting really nervous now. I don't want to risk driving my beautiful new JCB into the water. It's just not something that I want to do. It would just be so wrong. We've already driven one machine into the lake there, and we really didn't want to do it. It was an absolute, complete, total accident. And... I don't want to do it again. I don't want to do it again. Go on. Right, now, we need to lower that one down. And we want to very, very slowly come up this way, like that. There. Right, in we go. Go forward a bit. Right, it's not going to... Okay, well, let's not accidentally push the forward button when we want to press the backward button. Bring it round a bit. There. Backwards. Backwards now. There. There we go. Right. Here we go, like this. Easy does it. Easy does it. Right. I'm going to raise you up a bit. And I got a plan to be able to get a little bit more of that. I don't know if this plan is going to be a good one or not, because it's risky. Very, very risky. I'm going to come around here. I'm going on the side like this. Now, is this going to work? We'll lower this one down. And we're going to come in like this. You see what I'm doing? I'm not able to get all of it. We're very tippy at the moment. It's leaning over onto one side by a significant amount. That's it. I'm fully laden. Not able to take any more. Let's just back out of here. You know what? I'm not going to risk any more. We're just going with the front one. We're not taking any more. We're just going with that front one right there. And that's all we're taking. So there we have it. We have done it. We've gathered up the wood chips. So JCB has picked the whole lot up. And we're just about out of time for this episode. I don't think we're going to do very much ploughing today. We're going to start, though. We'll make a start. Let's put that one up onto the heap up there. There we go. We've got a decent heap of wood chips now. Look at this. I'm very pleased with this. Bring that all the way back through. There we go. There we go. Right. And fold you back up again. And then now we'll close the front gate up, and then we go to the back, and we'll close the back gate up as well. And I'm going to bring this one over here, and I'm just going to stop. Stop right there, and I'm not going to do any more. I'm not going to risk trying to go into the lake. I'm not going to do anything foolish. I'm going to go into our ford. I'm not going to press that button. And let's go for it. Right, now, the thing with the ford, we've got to do the edge of our field. Now, where am I going to do the edge of the field? I guess, really, I don't want to go too tight to the edge. I'm going to need to press X on here, because that puts the plow thing down. Press Y, allow create fields. And then we lower it down like this. Lower it like that. That gets it down to a low position. There, like that. I don't really want to go any lower than that. We start it up. And then we start driving. 9 miles an hour it goes. I actually want it to go slower than that. I'm going to bring it right down like this. I think this is a better speed. I feel more comfortable driving at this kind of speed. Especially for the corners. I'm not going to go too tight to that lake. I think it would be rather daft to get too tight to it. And we'll bring this one out round here like this. We will sort of bring it out a bit. And then we'll start turning here. So I'm keeping the edge of the field away from the top of that lake. I'm bringing it all the way up here. I know that's quite a way away, but I still think this would be... It feels like it would be prudent to keep it sort of back like that. And not get in too tight to it. And then I'll bring along there. It's a bit difficult to judge exactly where the optimal point would be. But like I said, I don't want to go too close to it. And we are going to have to do a few turns on the headlands here. If we're using hired help at all in this field, we're going to have to be very careful, because the hired help is not going to take into account the fact that there's a lake there. We missed a bit of wood chips right there. They're not going to take into account that there's any form of lake, and they're just going to drive into it. Because hired help are good like that, and we don't really want them to do that. So we'll keep that in mind. I like that we're going slow like this. I think that this is a good speed for this. It's a good simulation speed. Because remember, this is fresh ground, and it's absolutely riddled with roots. So this would be quite a realistic kind of approach to it. Probably we're going too fast. Probably we are actually going too fast in order for this to be a realistic simulation approach. In fact, I'm slowing that down now to go across this bit. Yeah, it's not gonna do all of it properly, and we've left some wood chips out. But when we go round with the cultivator next, that's gonna change that round. So we'll start going again. Have we got any more? Right, there's no other stump there at the moment. Oh, hang on. Oh, there's a stump right there that I've missed. I'm going to need to just back up and get that a minute. Did I get it then? I did. Right, press 3, and then I'll actually go along at the correct speed that I want to go along at. And we'll bring this one along this way like this. And we get that one there. I'll be able to go a little bit faster. We'll sort of alter the speed a little bit as we go along, depending on which bit we're doing and how we're doing it. So we can do that there. There, that's got some of that stump, but it's not got all of the stump. There we go. Right, now we've got the stump out, so then we can carry on again. I'll speed that up. We'll go all the way up to 3 miles an hour now. And I'm going to go in a straight line along here. I've missed a stump there. That stump back there, we'll leave that. Well, actually, I'm not going to leave it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to disengage the plow in a second. So I'm going to go to there, like that. Now, I will stop allowing the creation of fields. There, see? So the plow is still down. The plow is still actually doing something. But because I've disallowed the creation of fields, it's just going to do that. I'm wondering if I should go round first and do it like this, because then we'll be able to actually do the ploughing just a little tiny bit faster. Might work. I know it can be quite slow getting this right. If I was to go round here and then just like get all the stumps, and then go back through and do the creation of the fields, I could do it like that. I know that by doing this, I shouldn't have the plow down. If I'm going to do this, I should have done this beforehand, and then I could have just like ground out all the stumps. I just thought it would take longer. Now I'm wondering if it would be more, a better idea to just do this anyway. I don't think it would. I don't think it's going to benefit us in the long run. So we'll bring it back to there, like that. I need to allow the creation of fields again. There, like that, and then start going through. We'll do the 3 miles an hour. Now, over this side, I'll bring it round. We've got it curved, but I'm going to bring it right up to the edge of the road. Go right up there like that, and I can actually start increasing the speed that we go along here, like this. Because now I've gone in a little bit, I'm a little bit more confident with my moves. Slow down just a second there. Take all of that stump out. There we go, and then onwards again. Bring that round. I don't know how tight we're going to do this. Go on a bit. Okay, it's not getting that stump. It is getting that one, so we'll back up and we'll make sure we do get that one. Like that. Forward a bit. I'm getting stuck on something here. Right, well, whatever that was, it's now moved a bit. Oh, there's another stump there right in front of us, and that was kind of like lifting up the front of the tractor a bit, I think. Bring you on round. Again, I'm staying nice and tight to the road here, because I don't think we need to worry too much about it on this side. Bring that back through. If we've got 330 stumps, it's going to take a while to do all of this, isn't it? It really is. I don't think there is any kind of shortcut, though, that we can use. I don't think there is going to be a fast way of doing this. I think, honestly, this is going to be about the fastest way that we can do this. Just quickly run through it like that. The stumps do tend to disappear quite quickly, so I could speed that up a bit. We go up to 5 miles an hour. And then when we hit the stumps, we can just kind of slow it down a little bit, go over them. There's another one here. I've just missed it off to the side. There's another one there, which I can take out. That's once round. We've done once around now. Bring that in that way, like that. Slow it down a bit. There we go. There's the next one. Get you out. There we go. We've got nothing that we need to worry about over this side. We'll keep the field in fairly tight to the road on this side. We don't want to go any further out than that. I think that's fine. And I don't want to go too tight to the concrete on the main yard either. I'm quite happy with the distance that we've set that one apart on. There. Right. Oh, I can't... Actually, I pressed V to lift it up, but that's not a thing that we can do. This one just goes down. It's the mouse controls on this one. So we gotta... I'm gonna have to sort of bring it in like that, I think, in order to do this. I can speed it up a bit. I think it goes up... Well, 6 miles an hour, I think, is fine for ploughing at the moment. We already removed the stumps just from this end. I'd like to do another round before we speed it up any more than this. I think this is plenty fast enough for doing one more round. And we'll do 3 or 4 more rounds, and then we can start just working up and down the field, which is going to make it a bit easier. We can't use any kind of hired help, but we should actually be able to use the GPS thing on it, which may or may not make it easy. I'm not quite sure. I'm hoping it will make it reasonably easy to deal with. We'll run the GPS narrower than the machine in order to make sure that we do get it properly. But, yeah, we'll worry about that when we get to it. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work out yet. Anyway, I have run out of time. So, if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.